The 2025 Grammy Awards are about to take place on February 2nd, and one Grammy fact that often surprises people is who was the first winner of the Best Rap Album Grammy Award. Now, this isn't a very old category. This category just came into existence in 1996. For context, the Grammys have been around since the late 50s. So the Best Rap Album category is usually one of my favorite, and no, the Grammys don't get it perfect when it comes to nominating, let alone awarding the winner. But in this category, so far, the artist with the most wins in the category is Eminem. He's got 6 wins. Even his later albums that, most hip hop fans weren't that crazy about would often win the award for Best Rap Album. So Eminem pulled away from the rest of the competition with 6 wins. Kanye West is number 2 with 4 wins. Then you've got Kendrick Lamar with 3 wins, and then Outkast and Tyler the Creator both have 2 wins. Now, when it comes to most nominations, Jay-Z far away is the leader with 11 nominations. So Jay-Z has only 1 win in Best Rap Album, but has been nominated 11 times. The one time that he did win, no, it wasn't with The Blueprint. No, it wasn't with the Black Album. No, it wasn't with his 1996 debut, Reasonable Doubt. It was with his, at the time, commercial breakthrough, which really got Jay-Z from here to up here. It was Volume 2, A Hard Knock Life, his 98 album, so he was awarded in 99, and that was the one where he started his boycott of the Grammys because DMX had 2 #1 albums in 1998. He had It's Dark and Hell is Hot, his debut classic, and then Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. But since DMX was not even nominated for Best Rap Album, Jay-Z started his boycott of the Grammys. But yeah, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life, which Jay-Z again wasn't there to accept, that's his 1 win out of his 11 nominations. And then Kanye West and Eminem are tied with 8 nominations apiece. Nas and Drake both have 7 nominations. And then with 5, you got The Roots and Common. But let's talk about the first winner in this category. Now think about it. If they were awarding the artists and the producers and so forth, if they were awarding them in 96, then we're talking 1995 albums. So think back, what were some of the heavy hitters in 95? You had Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links. You had Mobb Deep's The Infamous. You had The Roots, Do You Want More? Other good albums like The Alcoholics, Coast to Coast, E40's In a Major Way. You had Goody Mob's debut, Soul Food. You had Smith & Wesson's The Shining, Farside's Lab Cabin California, LL Cool J's Mr. Smith, AZ's debut, Doe or Die. You had some really good albums in 95, but none of those that I just mentioned were even nominated. The nominees were Tupac's Me Against the World. That was the one with Dear Mama and So Many Tears. Like if you look at the music videos from that album, he's not even in the videos because he was in jail at the time in 1995. So that was between Strictly for My Ends and then getting signed by Death Row. So this is prior to Tupac going to Death Row. Remember, Suge Knight bailed him out and brought him to Death Row, and then he dropped All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. But Tupac's Me Against the World might be my favorite. I mean, it's hard to argue against All Eyes on Me, but I always really liked, from top to bottom, Me Against the World. So Tupac's Me Against the World was nominated. Bone Thugs and Harmony's East 1999 Eternal. That's my favorite rap album, probably of all time. East 1999 Eternal, that's the one with The First of the Month. That's the one where they reissued the same album, replacing Crossroad with the Crossroads Mo Thugs DJ Unique remix. That's the Crossroads that became the classic. It also had the East 1999 title track. It had Mo Murda, Buddha Lovers. Phenomenal album. Again, it's probably my favorite. That was nominated that year. Old Dirty Bastards returned to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version, with Shimmy Shimmy Ya, Shimmy Yam, Shimmy Yeah, and Brooklyn Zoo, shame on you when you step to. So that was on Return to the 36 Chambers. That was nominated. Then you had Skilo's I Wish I Was a Little Bit Taller, I Wish I Was a Baller. That was a huge song. Big single that year. So Skilo, not CeeLo Green from the Goody Mob and Gnarls Barkley, but Skilo, I Wish, was nominated that year. But the winner of this award was Naughty by Nature's Poverty's Paradise. That was Naughty by Nature, the trio of Tretch, Vinny, KG. That was their 3rd album. So their first album had OPP, or at least their first breakthrough album. They had like an early album. I don't even think they had Naughty by Nature as their name when they released their debut. But their first Naughty by Nature official major label album had OPP, that classic single. Their second album, 1993, had Hip Hop Hooray. And then their third album, Poverty's Paradise, that one's lead single was Feel Me Flow. Feel Me Flow, that's the one where it was like a summertime song. I mean, Naughty by Nature is great at, unleashing the anthems, right? And Feel Me Flow sampled, I think it was the Meters song, Find Yourself. Go look up the Meters, Find Yourself, and you hear that same brilliant part of their instrumental that Naughty by Nature used in Feel Me Flow, and that was just a huge single that year. That album also had The Craziest, which was, I believe, their second single from that album. But yeah, Poverty's Paradise, believe it or not, first winner of the best rap album category. And it really kind of speaks to how underrated I believe Naughty by Nature is. I don't think that they get enough mention, especially when it comes to Treach and Vinny as MCs. But let's talk about Treach. I mean, he had a remarkable flow and a microphone presence, his voice on the mic, plus his versatility. He was one of those guys who could switch it up and rap a little bit fast, but he was always super clearly enunciating. Like a lot of people kind of get sloppy when they speed it up. Treach was always very clean and strong and powerful with the flow. So I don't think that Treach gets enough mention when people talk about some of the best rappers, especially from the 90s. And I've long thought that the reason for that is I feel like there was a transition between like that first golden period, right? 1988, 89, when you go from there and then you eventually transition into more of the gangster rap, both East and West Coast, when the content became a little bit more gangster. I'm talking like 93, 94, it started to get a lot more gritty. Then you had like the rise of different MCs like Nas, you had Mobb Deep, you had the Wu-Tang Clan and so forth, right? You had like a little in-between period just at the turn of the decade where you had, Pete Rock and CL Smooth. You had Redman's 1992 debut, What the Album. You had Heavy D and the Boys. I feel like you had a big crop of artists that kind of got lost in the shuffle by the time you get to the mid to late 90s. Like you were just transitioning from the golden age where you had Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, EPMD. You had all these late 80s acts. You're transitioning into the 90s. And again, Onyx was another one that was kind of hardcore before gangster rap took over. So you had Naughty by Nature, you had Onyx, you had a lot of these new kind of rougher sounding artists in the early 90s that kind of fizzled out by the time you got to the late 90s. So I think that there are a lot of like high quality artists. Brand Nubian is another one that kind of get stuck in that little in between the 88 sound and then the 94, 93 to 95 sound. But yeah, Naughty by Nature, very good artists. Again, this Grammy award winning album was not their first or second, but their third major album, Poverty's Paradise. So yeah, that's a Grammy fact that kind of trips people out sometimes, especially when you look at some of the other heavy hitters and who's got the reputation from 95. When people think what were the best albums coming out of 95, a lot of people won't speak on Poverty's Paradise, but that did win the first best rap album Grammy. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about that. Let me know how up on Naughty by Nature you are, if you listened to them back in the day, if you view Treach as a underrated and maybe one of the better rappers that doesn't get mentioned as much as some of the other legends. Let me know your thoughts on that. And also, I'm going to be dropping a lot of Grammy videos as we start to preview the individual categories, and I'm also going to have some other videos touching up on some Grammy history as we near the date of the ceremony. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.